Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and today we're going to be taking a look at a rarer module, one that you don't see actually very often as of now, uh, Burnout. So this is the way the module looks. We have two different options here that determine our car type and the environment that we'll be racing in. This will be the engine, I believe, is the name, or rather the track condition that we'll use based off of the name of the car. And then we're going to be determining the number of boosts we have to use down here. So this module is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to read all of this to you until we get to the end of the module, because this is all about submissions. But for now, let's figure out how we can do this. So for step one, we're going to be determining the selected car that we're going to be using. To obtain the car that we will be using in this race, using the following instructions below. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by taking the last digit of the serial number, which is a 7 as of right now. We're going to add up the number of batteries, which we have quite a few actually. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that'll give us 7 plus 6 will be 13. If the serial number contains a vowel, let's see, vowel, it does not. If it did, we would multiply by the number of port plates. Otherwise, we're going to multiply it by the number of battery holders. We have 4 battery holders on the bottom. 13 times this by 4, popping out our handy dandy calculator. 13 times this by 4 is 52. And now what we're going to do with this number is we're going to modulo the number by 22 and find the associated car name in the table below. So we're going to find the index. Let's modulo this by 22, which is subtract until it is lower than 22. So modulo 22 will give us 8. So 8 will be our car, which is a cop car. So cop is going to be what I'm going to mark down. And I'm going to mark the index as well, being number 8, because that index might be relevant later on. All right. So step 2 is we're going to determine the track conditions. We're going to use this little table here to determine whether it is normal or reverse. So we're going to use this first row for our first condition. The last digit of the serial number is odd. That is true. Now for our column, to figure out what rule we're looking at, we need to determine whether we have duplicate ports or if we don't. So do we have a duplicate port present on the bottom? We actually don't, because there's only one port plate present. So none of these guys are the same. So we're going to be using this cell right here. So if there are more lit indicators than unlit indicators, the track is normal. Otherwise, the track is in reverse. On this bomb, there is more unlit indicators, so this rule is not true. So this means the track is in reverse. So we're going to write that down as the track is in reverse. So now we're going to take a look at the track condition, but one of the things that we must do, so we're going to go through this table here, and we have to use the name in the display here, which is SVD, and we're going to apply the first condition that matches. And this condition refers to the track condition, like for example, condition equals quiet. That's one of the options on here, as you can see, quiet, clear, rainy, etc., etc. However, one of the things that we must pay attention to that completely will override this entire table here is we need to pay attention to this little otherwise case. Not an otherwise case, but rather, I'd say almost a unicorn, but not so much. If the serial number contains any character from Delta 3 Sierra Tango 7, the track condition is unsafe. Regardless of whatever condition you do, the track condition will be unsafe if the serial number has any of these characters. Which, taking a look, it does have a 7 present in the serial number. We do have a 7 in the serial number, so our condition, regardless of this little table here, is unsafe. So unsafe is what we'll mark this down. But if I happen to not be unsafe, simply what we would do is we find SVD, and we would simply go through each condition. And S hash refers to the serial number, as you would suspect. So the serial number contains any from water, which if that was true, if this was what we would be doing, it would not apply. Duplicate ports present, we said that was a no. Timekeeper is present, nope. Car name is gangster, that is not true. We had a cop car. Otherwise, the condition would have been quiet, but obviously this did not apply, so this is an unsafe road. So finally, next up we're going to be determining the number of boosts. This is pretty straightforward. If there are more batteries than indicators, I have a pretty good idea that they are. We have 2 indicators present, and we have 6 batteries present. So this is obviously the case. Otherwise, if there was lit FRK, or if the track condition was rainy, or if the number of boosts is just 3. But the number of boosts that we currently have is going to be 2. So 2 boosts. And finally, we're going to figure out the hold and release time for the boost. The boost is probably the trickiest part of this module here. It's determining when you have to hold and release this guy. So, our car index, this is why I wanted to keep this in mind. This is the car index. The cop car is 8. So we're going to be using this row right here. The hold condition represents when the second digit added up equals the first digit in the serial number. And the release condition is when the last second digit is a multiple of 2. So, we'll get back to that later, but at least we figured out where we're at. Now, what we need to do is we need to figure out the order of which we're going to input all this information. And this is what the special input condition will tell you. However, before I get into this, let's take a look at these couple overrides. There's a lot here that is an override, but I doubt that we happen to have any of these. So, if there are no empty port plates, no unlit indicators, a PS2 port is present, and the serial number contains any character from Charlie 4, Tango, Echo 6, change the car name to driver's ed, the track condition to unsafe, and there will be no specific timing condition. Immediately press and release whenever. So, if the needy, and of course the other one is if there's a needy refill of beer is present, and there are more than 4 battery holders, we're going to change the car name to pickup, the boost amount to 1, and there will be no specific timing conditions. Press and immediately release whenever. So just keep these guys in mind and check them always at the end because there are some cases where this is applied. But let's take a look. We do have no empty port plates, but we do have lit indicators. We do have unlit indicators present. This is not true. Everything has to apply here. And there is a PS2 port. There would be Charlie 4, Tango, Echo 6. The serial number case would also not apply. And for the other override, we don't have an ED refill of that beer. This is the only module on the bomb. We have no needies present. So just keep those guys in mind. These obviously are not true. So now what we need to do is we need to input all of this information that we had into the module in a specific way. So let's take a look at these couple of rules here. If the car name is super or custom, or the track is in reverse, if one of these rules applies, this rule is true. The input is going to be the boost amount, the car name, and the track condition. So now that we figured out what we're going to be submitting, so we're going to do boost, car, and track. And that's what we're going to submit into the module. So now I'm going to head back up to the top and explain how you actually work with this module. So the 2 displays to the right of the larger display will show the car names. So the car name will be at the top, and the track condition will be at the bottom. And the arrows will be going left and right, will change the text. So, and before clicking go, before clicking this guy down here, we're going to select the correct car, the track condition, and boost amount. To lock in your answer, click on the display for the car name and the track condition right here. We're going to click this display when we want to lock this in. However, what we need to do is we need to do the boost condition first. So then click the amount of circles from left to right for the number of boosts required. So this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3, and this will be 4. So from left to right, we had 2 boosts. So we had 2 boosts, so we're going to select the second one right here. And that's going to be our boosts locked in. Next up, we're going to select the car type that we had. So let's go to the right, because it always starts at 0 index. It'll always start at 0 index being compact, and it'll go up SUV, coupe, etc., etc. It will always go up by the index. So our index was 8, so it's going to be a cop car right here. And our track condition is an unsafe. So we're going to now select, we're going to lock in car, and that's good. It would have normally given me a strike if I happened to lock in the correct answer at the wrong time. And we're going to lock in the unsafe condition. That's good so far. And now we're going to press go. And now we're going to get into how we use the hold and release time for the boost. So let's do this. So let's press go. And now the 2 greens and the 2 reds will pop up. The green is the boost that you have currently present, and the red is the one that you currently don't have present. And it will change based off of the whenever you use one. If you happen to use one of these boosts, this one will become red, then this one will become red. But this is the last part of the module. So let's figure out exactly what we need to do. So we've clicked the amount of circles from left to right. We've determined how many boosts we need. And what we need to do is we need to use the boost button. So if all the information is correct, it will go into the boosting phase. The button will change to say boost, and this button will now have to be held down and released at correct times. This process will have to be done depending on how many boosts you have, so we need to do the boost button twice. If any of the 2 times is incorrect, the module will strike and reset completely. However, if the boosts are correct, you have won the race and the module will solve. So let's figure out what we needed to do. So for our hold condition, we need to hold the boost when the second digit added up. So the first digit added up when the second digit added up in the timer here is equal to the first digit in the serial number. Our first digit in the serial number is unfortunately a 1. So this means that we need to add up to we need these two seconds digits to add up to 1. And we need to release when the last seconds digit is a multiple of 2. So that can be basically any even number. Any even number except... Actually, no, that is just any even number. So let's wait until we get the first chance to get our hold condition down, which can be 10, because 1 plus 0 is 1, which adds up to our first number in the serial number. So let's hold boost at 10, and then let's release at perhaps 8. So let's do that. We're going to hold boost on 10. Here we go. Let's release at 8. Now let's hold at 0, 1 to get our second boost in. Okay, and now let's release at 58. And just like that is a solved module. So it's a pretty straightforward module. It's really, and as you saw, if you happen to see the lights down at the bottom here, when we use the first boost, this second light became red, and then now, since we used the last boost right here, all of these guys are now red. So that's how this module works. So let's do a couple more examples. This module is pretty straightforward and it's actually pretty easy too. I'm not going to pick up the pace because now we know how to do this. But it is pretty straightforward with what it asks you to do. Probably the trickiest part that I always forget to do is I need to make sure that I get the correct input condition. So let's begin. So take the last digit of the serial number, which is a 9. 9 plus the amount of batteries is 9. So it's just going to be 9 because there's no batteries. So let's take a look. Does the serial number contain a vowel? Yes, it does. It contains a uniform. So we're going to multiply this 9 by the amount of port plates. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have only 3. So 9 times 3, popping out our handy dandy calculator, is going to be 9 times 3. Will give me 27. And now we're going to modulo this number by 22. Modulo by 22 will give us 5. And that will be a roadster. Roadster. Okay. That will be our guy right here. And we're going to move on to step 2. So is the last digit of the serial number odd? Yes, that is true. So we're going to use this row. Do we have any duplicate ports? We do have duplicate ports present. We do have 2 serials present. So we're going to be looking at this cell right here. So if the number of batteries are even, well, we don't have any present, so that is going to be true. The track is in reverse. So this was index 5, and the track is in reverse. Next up, let's take a look at the serial number first to see if it's unsafe. Delta 3 Sierra. Sierra is present, so this track is already automatically unsafe. This rule, as you would suspect, is going to probably apply a lot, so just be careful with this, because this is a very important rule that can throw off the entire module. Next up, the number of boosts. If the number of batteries is more than the indicator, if there's more batteries than indicators, that is not true. No lit FRK, we don't even have any indicators. If the track condition is rainy, not true. Otherwise, the number of boosts is going to be 3. So we're going to have 3 boosts present. And our car index is going to be number 5, which is going to be right here. Hold condition is going to be U, release condition is going to be U, and that's going to be what we're going to be doing. Now our special input condition, we do have a reverse track again, so this first rule is going to be the one that applies here. So the input sequence is going to be boost, car name, and track condition. Now let's pay attention to overrides. Do we have any empty port plates? Nope. We don't have any unlit indicators. There's no unlit indicators. However, a PS2 port is not present, and this actually cancels it out. If the serial number would apply Charlie 4 Tango Echo 6, the serial number still wouldn't have applied, so it doesn't matter. And we don't have any refill that beer, so our overrides are good, so we can just tell them to shut up. So now, I want to explain what I mean by what happens when you strike if you happen to input something into the wrong order. So let's input the boost amount first. Let's do 3. And now let's say if I happen to mix things up, and I happen to do the track condition first. So let's go to unsafe. But that actually gives me a strike because it's not the correct order. So we need to input the car first, which was a roadster, and then we can input unsafe. And just like that, that is good. So now let's take a look at our hold conditions. So when either seconds digit is equal to the index of the car. This is another reason why I note down the index of the car, not just for the rows, because this is going to be important. Our index for the Roadster was 5, and now we're going to be we can hold it down when either of the seconds digits has a 5 present in the display. And our release condition is when the seconds digits combined is a multiple of 3. So for example, 45, that'll be if like 48, etc., 33, so on and so forth. If it is a multiple of 3, then you can release it on that time. So let's press go. Now we have 3 boosts ready to submit. So let's hold on a 5. And now let's release on 33. That's good. And now as you can see, this guy turned to red. So this one's going to be turning to red next, and then this one's going to turn to red to solve the module. Let's hold on a 5, and let's release on a multiple of 3. Okay, now let's do 12. That's good. Let's hold on a 5, and let's release on actually 3. So 1, 2. And just like that is a solved module. Let's take a look at one more example and see if we can get some other different cases. I want to be able to actually use this table, but it is unfortunately not letting me. Okay, let's check first. I want to check just to make sure we can actually use the table. D3ST7. Oh, here we go. Now we can actually use this table for conditions. So let's take a look here. So our selected car is going to be last digit of the serial number, which is a 6. We're going to multiply. We're going to add the number of batteries first, which is 6. So that's going to be 12. There are currently 6 batteries present, 2, 4, 6. So that's going to be 6 plus 6 is going to be 12. And now we're going to multiply by some value. There is no vowel present in the serial number, so we're going to multiply it by the number of battery holders. So we have 3 battery holders present. 3 times 12. Let's get this guy up here. 12 times this by 3 is 36. And we're going to modulo this guy by 22, giving me 14. 14 gives me a custom car. Index 14. Now, let's take a look at the track conditions. Last digit of the serial number is not odd, so we're going to be looking at the otherwise here. Now, do we have any duplicate ports? We do have duplicate ports present, so we're going to be looking at this cell right here. If the number of batteries are even, which, taking a look here, they are indeed even. 6 is even, so this is going to be a normal track. Now let's head down to the track condition. So now we've determined that the serial number did not have Delta 3 Sierra Tango 7. The track condition is not unsafe unless some other rule specifies here. But let's take a look here. So our car, our name is going to be the CSL right here. And now we're going to go through each column from left to right to determine the condition. Or rather, just we're going to go through the row from left to right and figure out if this specific condition is true. So our first one, RCA port is present. Do we have one? Yes, we do. So this is the first condition that applies. So the condition of the track is going to be crowded. We're going to write that down, and now we're going to move on to the next step. If there are more batteries than indicators for the number of boosts, absolutely there are. The number of boosts is going to be 2. Next up for our hold and release conditions. Our hold and release conditions are going to be it's going to be between 14 and 21. I'm glad I was able to demonstrate all 3 of these guys. So the hold condition for this one is going to be when the seconds digit added up equals the number of indicators plus the number of port plates. So let's actually note this one down because this actually is a little bit of edge work that we have to pay attention to. So we have number of indicators, 1, plus the number of port plates, 2, 3, 4. So add up to 4. And then we're going to release when either seconds digit is equal to the amount of battery holders. So we have 3 battery holders. Release 3. And just like that, we figured out our hold and release condition. So now let's take a look at our special input condition. If the car name is super or custom, or the track is in reverse, the track is normal this time. However, the car is custom. We do have a custom car, so we're going to be paying attention to that. And this is going to be the rule that we're going to use, which happens to be the exact same one that we've been using this entire time. So let's take a look. So this is going to be the boost amount. So the boost amount is going to be 2 for our first part. The car name is going to be custom. That's the second part we're going to submit. Custom. now that I've hit the display, and the track condition is going to be crowded right here. Now that everything's in, we did not have any of these conditions apply. We do have unlit indicators, that already takes that apart, and we don't have to refill that beer. Let's go into this. So let's hit go, and now we are ready to boost. So we're going to hold it when these two guys add up to 4, and we're gonna release when there is a 3. So the first available time that we'll be able to do that will be 40. Let's do that. So let's hold on 40, and we'll release on any of the 3s actually. Let's do this. That works. Now let's do it on 31 because 3 plus 1 adds up to 4. Now it's released on 30, and just like that is the solved module. Now, you did see that the top bit has like the series of different colors pop up. Now, an important thing to note is that the timing actually doesn't matter whenever you happen to hold or release it, as long as they equal to the true times. That's all that matters. There's no break that you need to do it from. That's just for how do I describe it? Sort of like for module like design, I'd say. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. As always, stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.